Hey all, welcome back to the channel. So today's tutorial is all about using Snowflake with Prescient Designer. Now this can be replicated on a standard or a standalone Node-RED instance, but for that you'll have to use a function node and configure the Snowflake Node.js SDK on that function node yourself. Essentially, you have to build a Snowflake connector on Node-RED. But on Prescient Designer, we have our own Snowflake node that we have developed using the Snowflake SDK, and that makes things much easier and secure. So integrating Snowflake with Prescient Designer can be done in just few clicks. Now, if you want to check out Prescient Designer, please check out the links in the description below. All right, now I have a flow here open on Prescient Designer. So before going through the flow, I'll quickly go over what we have on Snowflake. So uh, we have a database, we have a table here called tutorials. So right now it's empty, and it has some example fields like ID, time, message, and username. So in this tutorial, we'll essentially push data to the Snowflake table using Prescient Designer. All right, coming back to the flow. So the flow is pretty simple. Uh, there are a few nodes here: inject, function node, and the Snowflake uh, connector. Now, the Snowflake connector is where you configure your Snowflake credentials. So you have your username, passwords, your account name, if you have private keys, and your warehouse, database, role, and schema. So once this is done, you can talk to your warehouse or your Snowflake instance using Prescient Designer. So in this example, I'm pushing this object into our table. So the main Snowflake query is this: insert into our table the keys and the values. This JavaScript code is essentially converting that JSON object into keys and values, just how Snowflake likes it. And once I hit inject, you will actually see what the actual query looks like. Now, if I hit inject, we get our payload back from our Snowflake node. And if we look at the payload, it says number of rows inserted is 1. And the final query looks like insert into our table, the keys, and the values. So that block of JavaScript code was just to convert this object into keys and values. Now, if we come back to Snowflake and check our table here, here's a newly inserted row. So I hope this kind of gives you some idea of how you can integrate Snowflake with Prescient Designer. You can use any queries, delete, update, as long as you have proper permissions for that warehouse or that database. Thanks for watching.